Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. My name is Femke.
And I'm Esmay.
And today we are here with our top 10 favorite sequels. The first favorite sequel of my stack is actually not the book I'm going to be holding, because I don't actually have that here. But that is A Conjuring of Light, which is the third book in the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. I put off reading this third book for the longest time. It took me like 3 months to get to it because I was so scared for it.
Took me 3 years.
My suspicions were correct. It really hurt me. Like, it ripped my heart out and it trampled all over it, but it was such an amazing book. It was such a well-paced book in my opinion, with beautifully fleshed out characters and a great plot and such an interesting world that I was really scared for it, but it was such an amazing book, and that's why it's on my list of favorite sequels.
The first book that I'll be talking about is the biggest on my list as well, and that is The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. You know by now probably how much I love these series. The characters are so well written. They're so good, like they're so amazing. The plot is just so nicely done. It is action-packed. You got different countries that are, you know, coming together. It's just so good, and I absolutely loved it. The first 2 books were just as good, but the third one I think was my favorite.
This is also probably not going to be a surprise for most of you.
No, and it's also on mine, so...
And that is Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor, which is the third book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I first read the series when it came out, so 2011, 12, and 14 I think it was. And this series just absolutely just gutted me, especially the second book in that sense.
Yes, the second book
I
was
like this
amazing.
third one more because it opens up so many possibilities for next books.
That's true, yeah. I think my favorite was the second one.
For me it depends on what exactly you're looking at. The first one, just because of the novelty of it.
Yeah.
Because it was such a unique concept and
Yeah.
it was so well done. And the second one, it's just really dark and really bleak in that sense, and I think emotions and character development were really well done in that one. But in this third book you just learn a lot of things and why they are the way they are, and I just think that world building, it's just... Laini's world building in general, same in Strange the Dreamer, is just like some of my favorite world building ever. Just because of the possibilities it opened up for new worlds.
I agree.
In that sense, so
it was amazing.
Read it. Go read it.
The next book that I want to mention is one that I love the first one, but the second one is just as good, and that is Daughter of the Pirate Queen, but then it's actually the second book, so Daughter of the Siren Queen. I cannot talk to save my life. It's just, the characters in here are so sassy, and it is a serious story, but it is so funny. At least I found it hilarious.
What I also really like, because this is also one of my favorite ones, but if we talked about all of our favorite ones, we'd still be here tomorrow, so that's why we just picked 5 each.
Or next year.
Yeah. But the second one is just, there's so much action going on, and it's just, the world is so much more expanded than it is in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really like that, because I really already like this one, but just the second one, just in that sense, blew me away. I was so surprised that she managed to get so much more
into it,
in such a small book, actually.
But also I really liked the development of like the relationships in there, not only between the protagonist that we have in here and her love interest, but also between her and her crew. Yeah. Because she's a pirate, and it's just, it linked so well together that it's amazing. Besides, the 2 covers also link perfectly, which makes me even happier. So yeah, it's a great duology.
The next book on my list is one that thoroughly wrecked both of us, and that is Hero at the Fall by Elwyn Hamilton.
God, I cried.
Which is the third book and final book in the Rebel of the Sands trilogy. I loved this book and I hated this book.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is the final book and we are in this one we are at war and it's just
Painful.
gruesome and people die, which, I mean, I don't want people to die, but it's in that sense realistic that people die in war and people sacrifice themselves so that others may live or achieve certain things, and that is exactly what happens in this book, and I really admire Alwyn for daring to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is just...
Besides, can we talk about the covers of the paperbacks? Come on. It's beautiful.
Beauty.
It's absolutely beautiful.
But beside that, just how brutal it is. I really love extremes in books in that sense. And I think that this one did a really good job of that war feeling. That like the desolation and desperation, but also hope.
Yeah. And I love the characters in there. The characters are so well written and they just break your heart.
And stomp on it.
And trample it. Rip it to pieces. You know.
Put it in a blender.
All that good stuff.
Read it! It's fun!
It's fun, they said. The next book that I'll be talking about is one that you haven't read yet.
Nope.
Shame on you. And
I'm
that
sorry.
is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. What can I say about this book apart from the fact that I loved it, which is obvious considering this is a, you know, top 10 favorite sequels video. But, you know. What I love about this book is the magic in there. The first one had it as well, but the second one has it even more. And that's the thing where you wonder about everything. You don't know who's telling the truth, you don't know who's lying, you don't know what a game is or what's real. And this idea of not only doubting what you're reading, but doubting yourself in a way, because you come to these conclusions and think, oh, that should be it, and it's not. This book just keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's just so well written. And if you haven't read either of these, actually, shame on you, do it now. Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely love it.
The next book that is on this list for me is a series that, in my opinion, went from okay to really good to really meh.
Yeah.
And that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I really liked the first one.
Yeah.
I absolutely adored the second one.
Second one was my favorite.
And I was so disappointed by the third one and the fourth one. But let's not talk about the fourth one.
3.5.
Yeah, let's just talk about the original trilogy. But especially the second one is still one of my favorite books ever. Because I think especially the character development in this one, like the plot is kind of slow.
Yeah.
But especially just character development and fleshing out is just, I think it's done so amazingly in this book.
Yeah.
And that is why it is on this list. This book is just like, I don't even know how to explain it, but
just read it, then you'll know.
Yeah, and preferably don't read the third one. But
no, just read the first and the second one, and then think up your own story. The next book that I want to talk about is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. These two books, also the first one, but especially the second one, I love the second one more than the first one. It's just so well done. The characters are very, very rounded characters. They're written very well. The time period, which is the end of the 19th century, is very accurately represented. Represented? That's not a word. Represented. Don't hate me. The time in which this is written is very well done. It's around the end of the 19th century, and it just feels very accurate. The plot itself is also very interesting. The mystery that this book conceals, it's just all amazing. I think you sort of feel the same, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, read this book yesterday.
And for me personally, I also like this one more, but that's because I still kind of have the obsession with vampires. It's not really the obsession so much, but just like...
Yeah, like the adoring.
Yeah, kind of like the nostalgic love for them.
Fair.
So I was really intrigued when I saw this one, because the first one had been on my TBR since it came out, but I just never got around to it, and then I saw that the sequel was this, Hunting Prince Dracula, and I was like, ooh, now I must read them.
Yeah. It's truly amazing.
And then I read them and I was like, Esmay, go read.
Yeah, and I did.
And then you loved them too.
I did not disappoint me. Oh, I loved it.
And the final book for me on this list, I think you also really love this one. That is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Six of Crows duology. Go read it.
There's not a lot you can say about it, just
No.
that it is brilliant. It is a heist book.
I really
The
loved
characters.
how much more you got to know the characters in this book as opposed to the first one. In the second one, you get to know the characters a lot more. They're much more fleshed out. The plot gets more intricate, and there's more problems. And it's just, I just kept thinking, well, like, how are they going to solve this? Like, how
are they going to solve this?
Well,
as well?
that too. But
Yeah.
like in the end, it's just, I think it's resolved really, really well. Albeit it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The ending really hurts, but it's so well done.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those series. I do have to admit, it took me a little bit to get into the first one, but they're so worth it to read because these are, I think, especially plot-wise, really amazing stories.
I loved every
amazing
minute
books.
of it.
Yeah,
They're amazing.
definitely.
The last book that I'll be mentioning might not be the best one plot-wise, but it was the best one for me, well, worst one for me, heart-wise, and that is The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh. If you know me, you know that The Wrath and the Dawn is my favorite duology when it comes to breaking my heart, loving the characters, loving the plot, loving the feel of the entire book. And this second book will forever and ever hold my heart. If you read this, or if you have read this, keep in mind that you have to keep going and do not stop to just sob for 15 minutes straight. So if you read this, do not stop, because you will hurt yourself more if you do. Keep going. But it was absolutely amazing and I love it to bits, and I now want to reread it again because it's in my hands.
There's plenty of other books you should read.
I know, but it's just...
In any case, these were our top 10 favorite sequels. We really hope that you also read some of these and that you also enjoyed them, and if you haven't read them, that you will read them because of this video.
Or because you just generally want to read them. Either way is fine.
That too. We want to thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please comment, like, and subscribe, and if you want, you can hit the bell icon.
So you get post notifications every single time that we, or I, or Femke posts. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!